Hey folks, Randy here with Going Cut and Trim. So I've been working in my shop for a while, and I don't know how good the sound's going to be in here because the wind's blowing outside, but figured I'd sit down and talk to you for a couple minutes before I got back to work. Um, I'm in the process of letting some customers go. It's like, I don't know, about 14 or 15 of them from last year that I'm not going to renew for this year. And it's because I've shrunk my service area significantly, and these folks aren't in it. So my service area now, it used to be, I would say, probably about 15 miles, a 15-mile radius from my house. And that worked fine when I first started when I first started in the business. I was trying to get lawns wherever I could. I'm based out of Glen Burnie, Maryland, for folks that are familiar with the area. And I would get a few kind of north of me, like in Brooklyn, or even a couple in Hawthorne. But I was mostly getting customers in Glen Burnie, Pasadena, Brooklyn. But then I also got a couple in Severna Park, and I got a couple in Annapolis, and just some others sprinkled out in different areas. Even had a couple near Fort Meade. And, it worked out well for me at first. But last year is when my business really, really grew. And I ended up at one point averaging right around 100 customers active for the season. It usually was right around like the 92 to 95, but a couple of times it bumped up over 100. And that was amazing financially. But the problem is when I got to that high, my marketing went basically to zero because I was killing myself trying to get them all done. And the reason I was killing myself was, and I didn't fully appreciate this at first, but on Mondays I was servicing Glen Burnie. Tuesdays I was servicing Glen Burnie and Pasadena. Thursday I was servicing Brooklyn and Glen Burnie, and Friday I was servicing Glen Burnie. And then Wednesday I was servicing a tiny piece of Pasadena, Severna Park, Arnold, Annapolis, Odenton. And it was almost impossible to get those that route done on the Wednesday route. And not only that, I always pay attention to the production rate of my business, and 4 days out of the week, my production rate was hanging out in the $80 to $100 an hour range. But 1 day a week, I was in about the $50 to $60 range. And I bet you can guess what day was in the 50-60 range. It was the Wednesday when I was driving all over the place. So I made the decision during that season that I was going to shrink my route. So while my route last year was my service area last year was about 15-mile radius, I shrunk it down significantly. That now I'd have to double check. I think it's like a 5-mile radius. I ran the numbers. I finished out the season with 99 customers. Of that 99, 85 of them were being serviced Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday in those areas that I'm talking about. And so there was only 14 or 15, whatever it was, customers that didn't fit that service area, and it just didn't make sense to keep them. If you looked at a production rate, if I got rid of those guys and picked up more customers in Glen Burnie, I started getting a production rate that was $30 to $40 more per hour, where we're talking another $300 to $400 per week in additional revenue. So it just didn't make sense to keep them just from a business standpoint. So everybody that was in that route is getting dropped, and I'm not just leaving them high and dry. I'm recommending them to the high quality companies in the area that service those areas, so that they've got some place to go to that's got my stamp of approval, more or less. But it also was a decision that needed to be made, because, like, I think, actually, you know what? No, as I said in a video that never got posted because it was really long and rambling, family really factors in very strongly in my business plan. Like I've said before on the channel, I've got a son who's got some pretty severe special needs, and the school he goes to is in Glen Burnie. I work in Glen Burnie. If he ever has a problem, I'm right here. I can take care of him. I can be there for him. Wednesdays, that was more difficult to do because I was farther away. So by getting rid of those properties and shrinking the route, I'm able to more effectively be there for my son every day of the week instead of 4 out of the 5 days. And that's really important to me. That's really important to my business plan. Now, as the business grows, we'll slowly expand out and start adding more service areas again. But in the meantime, it doesn't make sense to me to expand a service area so that I can make less money. That just doesn't make sense. So, I mean, that's what we're doing. This point, once this video goes live, the customers who are going to be shifted to other companies, they know. So I'm not really worried about them seeing it, because I know a lot of my customers do watch these videos. And yeah, I'm really excited about this lawn season. But you know, it's one of those things, like when you first start in the business, like you really just kind of got to get what you can get. But then as you start growing, you can be more strategic and start eliminating the lower profit businesses, or lower profit customers, and customers that you got to drive to go get to. They're lower profit because the more time you spend in your car, the less money you're making. I mean, you guys know that if you've been watching YouTube videos or done any research at all. But yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm shrinking my service area, I guess, by, I'm making my service area 60% smaller. Should be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Just wanted to pass that on to you. I've been working in the shop and decided to take a break and figured I'd talk to you. So, it's Randy with Dolan Cut and Trim. Have a good one.